This story was unfortunately inevitable. Massive trigger warning for a lot of things going into this story, but what you're about to hear is going to be extremely upsetting, but I think it's important that you guys know it. Before I tell you the story behind this photo, I want to show you the photo. This is an 18-year-old woman being sentenced to a crime that she has been found guilty for. 90 days in jail she has been sentenced to for a crime, quote-unquote, she committed at 17 years old. That crime being taking abortion pills. Nebraska woman charged with disposing of fetus following illegal abortion sentenced to 90 days in jail. This is literally news from a couple days ago. A woman accused of having an illegal abortion in Nebraska when she was 17 and disposing of the fetus was sentenced Thursday to 90 days in jail following a plea agreement. She had to take a plea deal. They were trying to really put her away for a long time. They were trying her as an adult for murder. Celeste Burgess, 19, of Norfolk, had entered a guilty plea in May to a felony charge of removing, concealing, or abandoning a dead human body. Misdemeanor charges of false reporting and concealing a death were dismissed under the agreement, according to documents filed in District Court, Nebraska's Madison County. In addition to the jail term, Burgess was sentenced to serve 2 years of probation. Norfolk police, so she's also a felon now. Her life's ruined. Norfolk police began investigating Celeste Burgess and her mother, Jessica Burgess, in late April 2022 following concerns Celeste had delivered a stillborn fetus, according to court documents. They found out, they were like, yes, we investigated her under the concern that she may have delivered a stillborn fetus. Authorities used Facebook messages between Celeste and Jessica Burgess to establish that the two discussed obtaining abortion pills and burning the quote-unquote evidence court documents showed. This is because in Nebraska, abortion is illegal, and they also have a system for ratting out people who get illegal abortions. So they were investigated by the police after being ratted out by boomer conservatives on Facebook that must have known the family. Police claim the body of the fetus, which was exhumed, appeared to have injuries indicating it may have been burned after the pregnancy was terminated, according to court documents. Celeste Burgess initially told investigators the fetus was delivered stillborn, according to an affidavit in support of a search warrant. Authorities allege Celeste Burgess had a medication abortion, and that it violated the state's prohibition of abortion after 20 weeks. Celeste Burgess was around 28 weeks pregnant when her pregnancy ended, court documents allege. Earlier this year, Nebraska's governor signed a bill into law that bans most abortions in the state after 12 weeks, with exceptions for sexual assault, incest, and medical emergencies. Jessica Burgess, 42, was charged with the same offenses as her daughter, plus a felony count of performing an abortion beyond 20 weeks and a felony count of performing an abortion as someone other than a licensed physician. In a plea bargain earlier this month, Jessica Burgess pleaded guilty to 2 felonies: removing, concealing, or abandoning a dead human body, and performing an abortion beyond 20 weeks, and the misdemeanor charge of false reporting. The other charges against Jessica Burgess, the felony count of performing an abortion while not being a physician, and the misdemeanor count of concealing the death of another person, were dismissed. Jessica Burgess's attorney requested a physiological examination of her client. She is scheduled to be sentenced September 22nd. CNN sought comment Wednesday from prosecutors and attorneys for Celeste and Jessica Burgess, and they did not respond. Yeah, so she was 17 years old in a state where abortion was a crime. She took abortion pills to basically induce a stillbirth, to induce a miscarriage. And, the fact that this is a crime, that what she has done, the 17-year-old child terminating this pregnancy instead of having to be, forced to do this, instead of being forced with the pregnancy. It's forced pregnancy if she's not allowed to terminate the pregnancy. So she had to conceal the body of this fetus like it was a corpse of someone she'd murdered or she would be tried. And I guess some Facebook boomers that knew the family realized, oh, wait, she's not pregnant anymore, and reported her to the police, and she was investigated, and now her life is ruined. Nebraska currently bans abortions at 12 weeks gestation. At the time, in April 2022, Nebraska law prohibited abortions after 20 weeks. Telemedicine abortions are also prohibited by Nebraska law. The FDA has approved mifepristone and misoprostol to end pregnancies up to 10 weeks. According to messages that Facebook's parent company Meta turned over to police in Nebraska, the teenager spoke about being anxious to end the pregnancy and worried about evidence of her illegal abortion being discovered. Burgess admitted to police that she miscarried after taking the pills, and with help of her mother and a third person, burned and buried the remains. At the sentencing hearing on Thursday, Burgess told the judge that her family would not have been able to afford a proper cremation or burial financial-wise. Listen, when it comes to the laws around abortion, here's how I think it should go. Based on maximizing practicality and freedom. Abortion should be absolutely legal and readily accessible to anybody who is pregnant up until the point where the fetus inside the body is viable on its own, at which point we already just do induced birth. An abortion should be completely legal and viable and allowed up until the point of where they wouldn't do an abortion anymore, they would just induce birth. Because that point, it would be more dangerous otherwise, and that's a viable fetus. So, yeah. Essentially, since she miscarried a non-viable fetus, she was clearly not capable, it was not long enough into the pregnancy to be viable. Trying to say, no, you don't get to abort this baby, you have to carry it to term, is state-enforced forced birth, and they are now punishing her for, at 17 years old, not agreeing to use her body as a baby mill. Is she being tried as an adult? Yeah, she was tried as an adult. Yeah, she was 17 years old, and they specifically tried her as an adult. Yeah. That was the really weird part of this, even for the state of Nebraska, is that they went as hard as to try a 17-year-old as an adult for this. So yeah, it's pretty f***ed up. Not very cash money of them, if you will. This is why I've been talking so much lately about the Republicans' burning desire to ban abortion and access to contraception. They truly want to take every bit of agency away from women in regards to sexual freedom. We're really looking at a potential tipping point of progress-wise backslide in a lot of these red states, to the point where, women may be treated with some extremely different legal rights in red states as compared to blue states. It could get to be quite stark in the near future. And this is genuinely a pretty scary thing to think about, but I think it's important to talk about. I think it's important to cover. I think it's important to learn about, because this stuff can't just go unheard of. This stuff can't go unprotested. This needs to be heard about far and wide, and there needs to be protests in favor of freeing this young girl, because she does not deserve to be a felon and to serve jail time and probation and to lose her right to vote or own a gun or any other right that you have as an American, because she has now been permanently labeled a felon by the state.